Hi guys, my name is PJ Bridger and today we are going to be looking at the version 5 update for the SP404 Mark II. This firmware expands the SP's functionality, adding high-level integration with Serato DJ Lite and DJ Pro, turning the SP into a powerful DJ controller. It also offers hands-on control over Serato Studio, making it easier to tap into the powerful software features for expanded sampling, beat making, and performance. As always, there's loads to go through, so let's get started. First of all, make sure you have the latest version of Serato DJ Lite or DJ Pro installed on your computer. A lot of the features of the update work with Serato Lite, but you will need to upgrade to Serato DJ Pro to access some of the more advanced features. Once you have the software installed, open Serato DJ and use a USB-C cable to connect your SP to the computer. When you connect the SP to the computer, it will be automatically detected, displaying a confirmation in orange at the bottom of the software window. When you see the software mixer controls disappear in the Serato software, this means the controller has been connected. As you can see from the SP screen, it has now changed to the Serato DJ mode. You can now use the value knob on your SP to move through your Serato music library. The bank buttons D and E will move you forwards and backwards within the software. You can load a song to deck 1 by using bank button A, and bank button B will load a song to deck 2. You can also use the bank button C to sort your library by BPM, and Shift and C to sort by song name. So let's load a song to the right deck and the left deck using the SP controls. As you can see, the pads in this mode have changed to different colours and they all have new functions. These functions are indicated by the icons inside the pads in the small boxes. It is best to think of these pads as actually two different halves. The two rows on the left-hand side of the SP control the left-hand deck, and the two rows on the right-hand side of the SP control the right deck. This half-split rule applies to all the different Serato modes on the SP. The only exception to this is the Serato sampler mode, which I will cover later. So starting on the bottom, we have pad 13, which is your play and pause. Then we have the Q button. Activating this will allow the track to be heard in the headphones. We can press Start End here to show the headphone mix. I'm going to move it all the way across from Master to Q. When the Q button is on and the mix is on C, it allows you to hear that track through the headphones. Next we have pad 9, which is our temporary Q point. Then we have Sync. If your tracks are properly analysed and beat gridded in Serato, this will allow you to synchronise both tracks at the same BPM. If you hold Shift and press pad 6, you can also activate Key Lock. This means your tracks will also be synchronised by key, which is great for harmonic mixing. But you will need Serato DJ Pro and the pitch and time expansion to do this. Above this we have BPM plus and BPM minus, which increase or reduce the overall BPM your track is playing at. Next to that we have BPM bend. This allows us to increase the BPM or reduce it slightly to help us line up our tracks and beat match. If you hold Shift and press these, you can fast forward or rewind through your track. At the top of the unit, the C1 knob controls the volume of the left channel, and the C2 knob controls the volume of the right channel. The C3 knob controls your crossfader. I'm just going to leave mine in the middle. I'm going to mix two tracks together now, so I'm going to turn down the right-hand channel and leave the left-hand channel at full. I'm going to start my track playing by pressing pad 13. I'm then going to come over to the left-hand side and I'm going to synchronize our tracks. If you notice in the software, one track is 122 and one is 120. When I press this, they will both be the same BPM. I'm now going to start our second track using Shift and play. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm now going to bring the track up in the mix and use the bend controls to beat match both of our tracks so they are in time. Gonna bring up the volume of the second track and start to bring down the volume on the first track. I'm then going to use the crossfader to complete our mix. And there we go, we've now mixed together 2 tracks using the SP as the DJ controller. We can still use our SP performance effects whilst in Serato DJ. To activate your effects, it's exactly the same way as you would if you were just using the SP standalone. The one big difference is that because we have 2 different tracks in Serato DJ, you need to use the bus effects selection controls to assign our effects. For example, bus 1 will add effects to deck 1 and bus 2 will assign effects to deck 2. So if we wanted to use the SP hardware effects on deck 2, we would press the bus effects button and make sure bus 2 is selected. Now the SP effects will be assigned to deck 2. If you would like to keep the effect settings on the screen permanently, you can do this by pressing the mark button. This is helpful for DJ sets and longer performances. You can still access any sounds you have loaded into the Serato sampler by pressing the sub pad. On the top 8 pads, you can now trigger your Serato sampler slots. The third row of pads down will change the Serato sampler bank, and the bottom row will change your Serato output settings. Whilst in Serato DJ mode, you can still access your SP sound banks by pressing the hold button. This is great for improvising live or dropping effects over your tracks. One of the really cool features of Serato DJ is being able to analyze your track and separate it into stems. This allows you to add and remove different elements of your track. For example, I will press pattern select to enter stems mode. And as I press pads here, you will hear different elements of the track being removed. The bottom track is the drum track, then you have the bass, and then the melody, and then the top track is the vocals. And as you can hear, Serato has recognized that the beatboxing is a vocal track. This allows you to mix and match things, like just play the drums and the vocal, for example. Or you could just play the melody and the bass. If you're using Serato DJ Pro and you have Serato Pitch and Time, you can also key sync your track. To activate this, hold Shift and press pad 10. You can then go up a key by using pad 2 and down by using pad 6. The second row of pads will remove elements with an effect, allowing you to do some really creative chops in your performance. You can combine this with the internal SP effects for even more flavour. If we press the pattern edit button, we can enter hot cue mode. In this mode, the pads on the left-hand side add cue points for the left-hand deck, and the pads on the right-hand side add cue points for the right-hand deck. As you can see, I already have a cue point here installed. If you want to add new cue points, just press a pad. If you would like to remove a cue point, hold Shift and press the pad again. If If you press the loop button, you will enter auto loop mode. Here you can add a loop of a designated size by pressing a pad, going from larger loops at the bottom to smaller loops at the top. If you are using Serato DJ Pro, you will have access to the roll beat and jump mode. If we press the roll button, we can enter this mode, and here we can use the pads on the top half of the SP to roll our track. On the bottom portion of the SP, pads 9 and 10 will jump you forwards and backwards throughout your track by a certain amount. You can increase or decrease this value by using the bottom two pads. And there you go, that is how you use the Serato DJ integration features on your SP using the 5.0 firmware update. Please continue to watch to see how the 5.0 update works with Serato Studio. To use your SP with Serato Studio, connect to your computer running Serato Studio via a USB-C cable, and you will see the Serato logo appear on the SP screen. If it is connected, you will see the connected message on the SP screen. So here we are with a blank setup of Serato Studio, and we can now use the SP to control the program and load sounds. So we can navigate up and down in menus by using the value button, and if we want to go backwards and forwards, we use the value button whilst holding Shift. So we're in our audio samples, and I'm going to choose our kicks folder. And we can now audition some kicks. When you've found a sound you like, you can load it to a pad by just pressing the pad. You will notice the pad is now mirroring the color of the sample pad in Serato Studio, and when we press that pad, it will trigger a sound. If you would like to remove the sound, press Shift and press the pad again. So now I have some drum sounds loaded up. If I now press the Start End button, it will start the scene playing in the software. And I'm going to go into the software and turn on the metronome. We can now practice with our sounds, and when you're ready, you can press the Record button to start recording. And there we go, we now have recorded a pattern using the SP404 Mark II as our controller in Serato Studio. We can now add to this by loading a melodic sample as well. So let's use the SP controls to browse for a sample and then press in the value knob to load that sample to a new deck. As you can see, Serato Studio has already split the sample up and placed chops over the pads. So we can now press the Start End button to play our pattern, and we can have a play around, and when we're ready to record, we can press Record to record our pattern. And there we go, we have now created a basic beat using the SP404 Mark II as the controller for Serato Studio. If you press the Gates button, you will enter mute mode. In this mode, the SP pads will mute the decks in Serato Studio, with pad 1 muting deck 1, for example, pad 2 muting deck 2. If you leave mute mode and you still have a sample muted, the gate button will flash to represent this. In Serato Studio, the SP can also control other parameters using the control knobs. For example, C1 controls the volume of the deck that you're on, C2 activates the dual band filter, and C3 controls the panning of your sound. If you hold the shift button and move the control knobs, you can access different parameters of the sound you have loaded. For example, C1 will change the attack of your sound, C2 will affect the release of your sound, and C3 will change the tempo of your sound. As long as we are using the SP as our audio device, we can still use all of our SP performance effects whilst in Serato Studio. You use them just like you normally would when using your SP. If we would like to access some of the sounds we have loaded into our SP hardware, we can do this by pressing the bank buttons from A to I. To return to Serato sampler mode, just press bank E. One of the really cool things about this integration is that you can still use Skipback whilst in Serato Studio mode. So if I press Mark now, we can now take our Serato Studio project as audio and save it to a pad on the SP, where we can continue to work on it further. So there you go guys, those are the new features in the SP404 Mark II 5.0 update. Go and grab the update from the Roland.com website and be sure to register your SP404 Mark II for all the latest info. Thanks a lot for checking out the video, I'll see you next time.